So, since I've become a Christian, many people have asked me, why? Some have even gone as far to ask, what's wrong? Suggesting that my search for something more was prodded by some traumatic incident. I grew up Jewish, Buddhist, studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. I watched The Secret, been exposed to numerous Christian denominations, Methodist, Catholic, evangelistic, the list goes on. I even reached the point of believing in nothing, like an angry child refusing to admit that their father is their father. I even told people that God was man-made, but He is a living God. I couldn't understand how a life of bowing and kneeling and protocols and ceremonies was the embodiment and expression of a divine life that we contain within us. And that's because it isn't. Religion versus spirituality is explained like this: obligation versus enjoyment. Romans 8:2. For the law of the Spirit of life has freed me in Christ Jesus from the law of sin and death. Now that's a loaded verse, I know, so let me explain a little bit. Man has 3 laws. The first, the law of good. It's us knowing what's right and what's wrong and trying our best to be moral, upstanding citizens. It's like following the 10 Commandments, Moses' law. And then there's the law of the flesh, the law that's susceptible to temptation, quick fixes for momentary comfort. It's the natural law, and sadly, most of us are still ruled by it. Our morality can never rule over the ruling of the flesh. I mean, if you've ever been in a tempting situation and been able to reason your way out of it, I commend you. For most of us, we reason the other way. But He is a living God. 1 Corinthians 1:27 tells us, God shows the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, and the weak things of the world to shame the strong. And 129 explains why, so that no flesh may boast before God. See, our sufficiency isn't of ourself, it's in God. Any Christian that tells you he is strong in himself is missing the point and ultimately doomed to fail. The third law, the law of the Spirit of life. The law of the Spirit of life is that we have the living, breathing, moving Spirit of God inside of us. It's that Spirit, that life, and the enjoyment of that Spirit and life that overcomes temptation, depression, everything negative that oppresses us. But it's not done through obligation. It's done through enjoyment. It's done through grace. I pray not because I fear God. I pray because I fear going out into the world without being armed with the Lord's grace and mercy. When you're praying, you're speaking to God. You're actually having a conversation with your Creator and simultaneously receiving a pep talk. He is a living God. The Lord died to become part of us, not part of perfect people, that claim to be better than everybody else. Not part of people that know the Bible backwards and forwards and accuse other people of not knowing enough or not going to enough services or, if you read the Bible, you know that the Lord hated religion. He hated what it did to people. And He came to break the rules of hierarchy. He came to show us that worship begins in the heart. The moment we call His name, we're in church. The moment we speak His words to other people, we're holding a service. The word service in general shows you that we're being stripped of enjoyment. To hold a service and to serve the Lord without enjoyment is death. You're not imparting life or peace or comfort to anybody. Believers, non-believers, skeptics, critics, understand religion is obligation. God's aim, purpose, whole idea of imparting His life and Spirit into us is so that we can enjoy His life, peace, love, grace, mercy, strength. He wants us to be happy and be fulfilled as He is in us as the living God.